So basically, it's a low key conversation, kind of like how we had with artists, just on influence, hustle, and the creative process. And because my whole thought was that there's tons of people doing this already, it might as well just like start to reach out to see what how people are doing it, and how different everybody has like a different distinct way to do it. And then of course COVID hit, making an already really difficult journey a little tougher. So I've just been interviewing basically anybody who's willing to talk about how they take on art. I mean, at first it was more kind of uh, more based on like kind of how do you make it a business and how do you make it um, market it and how do you kind of focus on that aspect of the process. But then I've more or less, I mean, I just do that because out of necessity. I don't really like, I don't know if any artist really does like the marketing thing. How do you guys look at that? Let's
Uh,
just start there with marketing in general, or how you get your word out there and those kind of things.
it's like it's 50-50 for me because I feel like if it wasn't for like promoting on social media and stuff and spending a lot of money I didn't have promoting, we wouldn't have gotten a lot of the gigs and opportunities
Yeah.
that we've had. But also, it's tiring. Sometimes living in a world of technology and social media, um, I don't know if your mental health isn't in the right place, which I feel like I'm there at sometimes. Um, you can feel invisible online. So like you're marketing, you're throwing things out there, and it's just kind of feels like it's going to deaf ears. But
Mhm.
then I have to remind myself that like that's how we met you,
I
promoting it
know.
on
Yeah.
things
It's
like that and
crazy. Yeah.
opportunities like that. So yeah, it's rewarding in those type of ways, especially with COVID that happened, the quarantine last year. We're able to connect online because we couldn't really connect in person. So
I almost feel like 2020 could not have happened the way it did
mm.
without the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, think about that with even with all the George Floyd stuff and like everything that happened and how massively like that whole just we were all just on our screens, and then we're all communicating to each other and then all kind of don't know what's going on and anxious about this and then also watch this terrible thing happen and then everybody's like we got to do something, it was like almost like everything that happened in 2020 was amplified through the internet.
Yeah. I feel like when the George Floyd tragedy happened, we came together as like a community and realized how much we needed each other. Like
Definitely.
cuz it was during quarantine and things and we were, social distancing, but when that happened, people were like in the streets. They were ready to love and hug and just be there for each other. It was kind of beautiful like all around the
Mm,
world. Yeah.
yeah, it was. Were you guys here in Richmond at all during that
Um
time?
I we
Yeah, we
me,
came
my
for one protest.
the both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, remember the first time? I mean, yeah, we came up here once together for a protest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And you came up after.
Yeah, because I remember I brought my mom to the Robert E. Lee statue to see that,
Mm,
and they were having speeches and stuff out there. But
yeah.
that was a big moment too, because I don't think my mom knew the magnitude of like, especially the youth in the city and how they were just like out there like doing their thing. And so when she saw that and she saw all of the what's the word I'm looking for? Not monuments, the plaques for like all of the victims.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it
Memorial.
was a memorial. Thank
Yeah.
you. It was beautiful to see her be able to see that community like that.
Maybe for those listeners or whoever who are not familiar with the Richmond area, could you explain a little bit about that what that looked like, that space over there?
Oh, it was incredible. I don't even know how to explain it. Because I remember as a kid we used to drive through Richmond and we would see like the Robert E. Lee statue and there was another one that was taken down. I can't
Stonewall.
Stonewall, yeah.
Hmm.
Specifically the Stonewall statue because I never saw the Robert E. Lee or I don't think I did until the protest. But it would just be a thing that we saw, and we didn't really put much thought into it. We learn about it in school
Yeah,
and things
definitely
like
learn
that,
about it in
but we
school.
never really put much thought into like this statue staring us in the history staring us in the
Mm.
face. So when people started protesting and stuff, and putting graffiti on the statues, it just became like Richmond, like a work of art. Like it was beautiful. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. It was just seeing people out there like playing music. I think I saw a guy shooting a music video over
Yeah.
there, playing basketball.
Butcher
Yeah.
Brown
Oh,
recorded
really?
up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they
awesome.
did.
Yeah,
I
people
They
were.
did a
think
video there.
Johnny
Mhm.
C recorded
Yeah.
a video there.
They were skateboarding on it, playing basketball. It was like we were taking the community back and making it more of like a community, and not like, hey, you have to remember the Civil War and Robert E. Lee. It was like, we're going to rewrite the history here. So yeah.
Yeah, it was really powerful. We went Juneteenth last year,
Mhm.
and there was just like barbecue going,
Yeah.
and like people playing hoops, and there was jump ropes, and like
Yeah.
everything. Just everybody out there. They have a community garden there that they were working with, and so that
Oh.
whole process was really a beautiful. Yeah, the community just came together in a real
Yeah.
way, specifically at that spot,
Yeah.
which I think is like really important for this particular city.
Yeah.
So have you guys been writing a lot of? Well, let me just talk a little bit about what I've been listening to your music, and it's spacey in more than a few different ways. And what I
Okay.
mean by that is that it's got some like psychedelic
Yeah.
aspects to it. But then on the other hand, there's tons of space.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room
Yeah.
in the tracks. And I'm curious, is that because of like recording limitations, or is that because of like on purpose? Is that the vibe you're wanting? Like, how would you, and I encourage anybody who's listening to go and obviously check out the songs. And we were able to record ones, some in here, which we'll put up, which is cool. But can you talk a little bit about your sound and like, how did you guys come to the sound that you have?
You want
Mm. I'll let you start off.
Okay. Well, to answer the question, it's a little bit of both, because it's like two of us. We're really like adamant on making sure we can perform these songs the way that you hear it. So
we don't
like,
want to add too much and then
Yeah.
get on a performance
Yeah.
and it's not like the track,
Right.
So
I mean, we have like a harmony box and things like that we've kind of implemented in it, but other than that, it's it's more like a necessity because it's just the two of us. But also, like you said, with the psychedelic sound and we like to call it like a vibe, like a hippie vibe.
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of like that, if that makes any sense. Like it's just always like a flow. So
a lot of reverb.
a lot of
Stuff like
reverb.
that.
Love reverb.
We use that so it can kind of like fill out the sound, I
Yeah.
guess, because there's only like two of us. So yeah.
Yeah.
We try to use those little techniques and stuff like that.
And have you guys been writing music as long as you've been together?
Kind
Or is
I
it
mean,
kind of a newer thing?
Oh, well, I write the lyrics to the songs, and I've been writing since I could speak. Like, it's just my thing. But yeah, these newer songs, I feel like you would create the instrumental first, and then
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
times it'd be like,
well, the process is always different. But go ahead,
yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
different sometimes. Sometimes I might come up with something on guitar or like a drum, or
Mhm.
sometimes you might come up with something on bass or
Yeah.
guitar, different things like that. So it's always a different process, I guess. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of these songs are super old, like before we even thought about being a band. Yeah.
Mm. And have you been recording a lot or writing during COVID? How has that been
Not
for you?
Not really. It takes me a while regardless, to write a song. Like, I like to joke that it takes me like 3 to 5 business years to write a song. It never, I'm like, I want to sit down and write a song, and it just never happens that way. But I think we've written quite a few songs.
Yeah, we got a couple of songs that we wrote over
Yeah.
that time. Yeah.
I feel like last year I wrote maybe 3, which is good for me because usually it never happens. But and then you released the solo instrumental project.
yeah.
So yeah, there was some new music that came out of that, but not a lot.
No, that's I feel like some people either just went into the vortex and just started making
Mhm.
things left and right. And then other people were just like, I just don't have the energy to do
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're all comparing and contrasting on social media as it's coming
Yeah.
out.
Oh gosh, yes.
And so I do feel like I think historically we'll look back and be like, there was some really
Mhm.
incredible stuff coming out of this time.
Mhm.
But I do also think we'll look back at the social media thing and just be like, wow, we didn't, what was going on at that point?
Yeah.
Without fail, everyone I talk to has a love-hate relationship with it.
Mhm.
I'm not every artist in
Yeah.
even the ones that are doing good, doing it
Yeah.
well are
Yeah.
just like, I mean, how do you keep up with the putting out something all the time? I mean, that just feels, especially as an artist, you're not staying true. Like, if it takes you 3 years to write a song, how are you gonna fill like 3 years worth of social
Right.
media about like one song, right?
Right.
Like, there's
I'm still promoting songs that we released
Yeah,
what 2 years
old
ago
song.
because we don't have any new material. And like you
Yeah.
said, I'm constantly comparing myself to everyone else's hustle on social media and stuff. I'm like, am I? It comes to a point where I'm like, is this even something that is in my destiny? Because
huh.
people are
Mhm.
constantly putting out like music and music videos, and they're constantly like out there, and I'm like, bro, like
Our motivation is
I'm watching
low.
Netflix right now. I'm so stressed
Yeah,
out. Let me
yeah,
watch
yeah.
Girlfriends.
The
You
entire
gotta talk
season.
to Sean about that. She loves that show.
Man.
What about you? How do you see it, Andrew? How do you have like social media in general, and how you, because you will put some stuff up of you playing guitar or
Yeah,
like that kind
that's
of like, how do you see it?
I mean, that's technically my only outlet, I guess, for motivation, just putting up videos here and there. But I don't know. That's pretty much about it. I mean, I'm not crazy about the social media, and I mean, you know, I guess look at other people's stuff. We're like, dang, I think we're slacking, but
Yeah.
it's just here and there, up and down motivation.
I think it's a great tool to do what we're doing here,
Yeah.
which is just like reach out. Like, I somehow found you from it must have been a hashtag. you
Yeah.
used.
Oh, I use so many hashtags.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then when I found you, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I want to meet her. And then I was like, watch. And so it's almost as if you can kind of keep. It's like if someone wants to deep dive on your stuff, it's there available for them to go
Yeah.
and take a look. There's
Mhm.
way too much out there
Mhm.
for us to consume. I just think
Yeah.
it's impossible. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no time in the day to do it. But if you can use it as a tool to be like,
Yeah.
oh
To
shoot, I'm
connect with
actually going to
people.
connect with
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
people that I've never met before, bring them in, have them vibe in the place, work together, whatever. I mean, it's
Mhm.
like that, it becomes a really powerful thing.
Yeah.
But it is that comparison.
Yeah.
It's killer, man. You have to put a bound. I feel like I talk about this on every podcast I do, but it's all comes down to the boundaries,
Mhm.
because it is sort of real life, but it's sort of not real life.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in between. I don't think it's all completely fake,
Mhm.
because there are some people doing some like
Yeah.
incredible things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a buddy. He said like the best authors, those classic authors that you would have read back in the day. He's like, Mark Twain is on Twitter right now. Like, today's version of those, you fill in the blank as far as like writers, they're using these new forms
Yeah.
of social media. And I think you could say the same, the brilliant minds, the brilliant artists, they are using it. If they're making any money, then they're hiring somebody else
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
There's just too much I mean, not all of them. A lot of people
Yeah.
keep control of their social media handles and stuff, but it's a whole thing, man. It's very different than even 10 years, like 5, 7 years ago.
It's like a blessing and a curse. While I'm ecstatic about the new wave of like artistry and how we can just build our own brand on our own. It is so overwhelming, and I'm like, there's so much more that we don't know. And sometimes I don't even. It's like there's like shelves of like information, and I don't know which shelf to open first. Like what to learn first to get to the next step. But it's It's innovative though. It's just, I love seeing like especially other local artists creating music and music videos. It just feels like our own little personal Hollywood here. When I'm seeing like a lot of my friends creating
That's cool.
dope
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. And
Yeah.
we
And why
know
not
them,
putting it
yeah.
up? You don't, there's no
Yeah.
gatekeeper, right?
Right.
You can just kind of put up whatever you
Mhm.
want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I almost see it as a sketch pad in some ways. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
Yep.
if you want to see kind of the flow of what of where I've gone over the
Yeah.
last year, you can just kind of
Mm.
follow and follow along with it. And you have control over like
Yeah.
deleting it or whatever you want to do with
Yeah.
it. If you,
Done that
I
a
love
lot.
that that trend. Probably will
Yeah.
delete. I don't know what they say, but I always see people say, yeah, probably not gonna. We'll delete later, but check it out. What do you think? So, some people are really good at it.
Yeah.
Some people really enjoy it. Other people, I think everyone's overwhelmed by it. I
Mhm.
don't think it's possible to not be.
Yeah. We get so caught up in the idea that just because someone, not saying that everyone's sad, but just because someone's posting their happy moment, that you should compare yourself to it. But we have to realize that social media, people post their happy moments on social media.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
while we're comparing our lives to them, it's like we forget that we're like, excuse me, we all went through, quarantine and the protests and stuff like that. I don't know a sane mind at this moment. Like, I'm pretty sure we're all like feeling it. But when we were in quarantine and we were in those moments of isolation, it was very easy to just like look to social media and be like, they're living way better than I am. Although obviously we're all in
Yeah.
this, together
At different stages.
in different
obviously.
stages. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's gonna be one of those things that we all kind of process for a long
Mhm.
time. I'm really curious. I don't want to go 20 years in the future right now. Like, Lord help us, I don't want to go there. But I'm curious as to what people will say.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of younger, because I'm a little bit older, and I met some like what I would call Generation Z, Gen Zs, and I think a lot of them are kind of just like my niece. She's like, I hate social media. I'm all, like, I use it how I need it. She didn't say I hate it, but she's hip to the fact that it's like
Yeah.
designed to be addicting. It's not all real
Yeah.
world. Put it down, pick up a book, and
Yeah.
she's 16. I feel like there probably are, in some ways, like people that are, I don't know. I'm thinking about it constantly because
Yeah.
it's one of those things that we all have to struggle with and work with, but you can use it for good,
Yeah. Yeah. I think you can, especially as an artist, you can use it as an art form and things like that. I don't hate social media. It's just sometimes, especially TikTok, I'll like post a video and then I'm gone. I don't even scroll on TikTok.
I can't. It's
I
too
can't
much.
keep up. Yeah.
It's just too much. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is wild.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, but yeah, man, that's cool. So when you guys are recording, are you mostly doing a lot of recording on your own?
Yeah, well,
Most of our songs. We've
Yeah.
recently started going to the studio with our good friend Gavin Brown. But Gavin Brown,
Yeah,
I said
Gavin
good friend.
Brown.
I said good friend and then didn't know his last name. That's horrible. Yes, but I I have like this police scanner laptop because my mom used to go to auctions
Literally?
and yes, it's literally a touch screen police scanner laptop. And it's so hipster. But and I have Audacity on it. So I know that's like, I guess that's everybody uses different things, but Audacity has gotten me to like great heights. So
Yeah,
that's
man.
what that's what we've been using. But yeah.
we just started going to the studio. Was that last year?
Mhm.
Yeah, last year.
That's when we recorded Lie Next to Me
Yeah,
with
yeah.
him. And
Cool.
Then,
Yeah.
We have a music video out for that, you guys. If you want to see it, it's
It's great.
got aliens
Very
and stuff involved.
extraterrestrial.
But now that we're both full-time musicians, we're thinking about recording ourselves again.
Just to save money.
save some coin.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like there's more. At this point, there's for not a lot of money to set up, you can kind of like what you're talking about. You are your brand. There's not a ton you need to get started. Obviously, if you want to glow up and get like a better sounding product or whatever, there's always going to be someone who can do it better that you can work with. But there's also this it's a cool time to be alive because
Yeah.
anyone can just like grab stuff and just put it up, and then it's up on
Mhm.
Spotify, and people have access to it
Yeah.
and can listen to it and go with it, which is really cool. I think it's exciting. Yeah, definitely just get a space and just start working with it and set up a place where you can be creative. I think that's like one of the most important things is just having like a space dedicated.
Yeah. See, we record in our living room, which is kind of
On
like
the floor.
yeah, it's like we we have two bedrooms in our house, and one is his and one is mine. It's like our offices. But we've always talked about making his room like the studio. But I like open windows and things like that, so we set it up in the living room. But the problem with that is that after we're done, all the instruments and everything is all over.
Yeah.
Like it's it's everywhere.
Chords
So
and everything.
yeah. I feel like that was another reason why we started going to the studio, because the setting up and putting away of our instruments was just getting ridiculous. But
Yeah, it's a thing.
yeah.
It's a lot.
It takes up most of the day.
Yeah, and having somebody know exactly what to
Uh-huh.
do without us trying to look it up. be
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
you
"This
guys,
mean-"
because when I saw y'all play at the Virginia
Mhm.
Yeah.
Museum of Fine Arts, which was amazing.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Man, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Just to set the stage, I mean, it was basically an outdoor event
Yeah.
that there was just lots and lots of people, and this is
Yeah.
everybody was cooped up for COVID, and now they're all
Yeah.
out in the summer doing their thing.
Yeah.
And I went there, and I'm like, there's a lot of people here. Wow, I don't know what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, we were all thinking the same thing.
You're
Yeah.
like, ooh, is this safe? Maybe it was, maybe it's not. Anyway, y'all played incredibly. So there's all
Thank
these people,
you.
there's spoken word. Some people are
Mm.
listening. A lot of people are drinking and partying, talking. And then like you guys get up there to play. And I legit remember. So the only thing I could hear other than you, there's 3,000 people in this. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but it felt like everybody got silent. It was you and the cicadas in the freaking tree. As loud as anything, and then but everybody else was silenced by when you guys
Oh
were
gosh,
playing.
that's a blessing. That yeah.
And I look up, and there's 3 girls just
Oh my God.
dancing. These
heard
little
about
girls
that.
that are just like, just
That-
feeling it. And I'm like, I said, first of all, there's something on another level going on here, and secondly, those kids are cued into what is real.
Yeah.
See,
The kids know that there's a spiritual aspect to it. And then I
That's-
feel like almost like there was just power in what you guys were doing. And it was
Thank you.
amazing to see like it's a guitar, a vocal, and maybe a backing track, but it like silenced like
That's
everyone
amazing.
there.
See, I love it when like the babies are in like agreement, because if they children, I love kids,
Kids know.
but they're really rude, and they'll tell you if it's not good. And so the fact that they were dancing, I'm like, we did something right,
Yeah.
because yeah, I've stumbled across some rude children. So the fact that they were like dancing with me, that
Love
made my night.
I think kids just tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever they're
Yeah.
thinking, they
Yeah.
haven't learned yet to be like, okay, if
Yeah.
you think that, don't say it. But they're just like,
They're the best critics, really, because
They
I mean, they
are.
don't have anyone telling them, to dull it down or to be nice. Like,
Mhm.
just kind of speak your feelings. That's okay.
I was moved by
Sometimes.
just how powerful the live. So it makes sense that when you guys are talking about it, it's like the live aspect is really important to
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah,
And
I've-
even just watching you play, like you guys have done this quite a like you're how do I say it? You're clued in together, and you guys can just sit down and just record without having to like stop and redo stuff and
Oh.
all that kind of stuff.
Sometimes,
Well
yeah.
rehearsed.
Sometimes,
Well rehearsed.
I feel like it was a lot. It had a lot to do with 2019 when we were like thrusted into playing and
That was a good
performing
year
and
for us.
stuff. Because I remember when we first started playing music, and there was a place in I think Blackstone that wanted us to play for like 3 hours, and we were like, we can't. We don't have. We didn't have any material. And then I'm thinking back.
I didn't
at,
even know there was a thing at the
Right.
time.
Then I'm thinking back at 2019 when we were playing for like 3 hours and
Yeah.
playing encores and like going. I think that made us well rehearsed. Like we didn't stop to take a break. So it's like these songs were kind of like second nature to us. And so yeah,
Word.
I don't remember the last time we played Ghost of You, but we've played it so
Word.
much that it was it was fun.
Yeah. it's powerful. I think people are
That's
always going to go to see live music too. You
mhm.
know, I
Yeah.
think that's one thing they can. Yeah, it's one thing that people were clearly really hungry for and still are. You know, they
Yeah.
really want to see live performances and do that. And I think like just watching y'all do it, I'm like, man, there's just so much power with two people.
Thank you.
It's really incredible to
Thank you.
watch. And I think Afshan, my wife, who was there as well, was just like, it was like really magic. And you guys only played like 2 songs or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Time
like,
was ticking, so
It
we had
was,
to
yeah, we were in a
but
rush.
yeah,
we
that's
usually
cool.
rate songs for like 5 minutes. I was like, I think we had like a 10-minute slot, and I'm like,
Yeah.
the way our songs are set up, they can be like a movie length. So I really hope that we don't just get yanked off the stage, but it worked out
Short film.
perfectly.
Is
Short
there
film. Yeah.
are there improvisational type aspects to your live show as well? Are you guys
No, we ain't got there yet.
Yeah, we're not that
actually still
professional
working
yet.
on it.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like we played our first encore like at the Folk Farm a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were like, play another song, and I'm like, we can actually do that now. I think,
nice?
yeah. Usually when we're doing like restaurant gigs, they come up to us and ask for like requests. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
don't put me
can
on the
barely
spot.
play this instrument. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm so sorry. Please
that's
don't hate me.
Oh man, that's too good. Guys, it's hot in here and I'm just so
Yeah.
grateful for your time and your talent and just being willing to like kind of meet a random person on Instagram and then
Yeah.
come and share your journey and your experience and just get we barely met and then
Yeah.
y'all are
Yeah.
in the room
Yeah.
and talking and vibing and I'm just really grateful for that. And we got to figure out this NPC with
Oh,
the
yeah.
Morning Star
Yeah.
pedal, which we will do.
That's
But
exciting.
I'm just really grateful. Whoever's listening, tell them where to find y'all's stuff and
You go
what to be looking for.
because I
I
stumble
don't know
over
that.
words.
Plug,
Oh, you don't?
plug.
Yeah, if I knew that.
Oh, it's Tiara and Andrew. Anywhere,
Yeah,
anywhere
I didn't
you
think about
search,
that.
it's Tiara & Andrew. But I'm sure if you type in the word "and," you can find us. We have music videos out. There's a 2-part series for Crop Circles and Lie Next to Me. If you believe in aliens, if you don't, if you just like a good time,
Believe.
believe. I want to believe. You
Dude,
know?
can we get into aliens?
Yeah, if you want to. Hey,
we can go there for
we got some stories. Yeah.
That's our thing.
That's kind of how we like connected in high school. I was more like the supernatural aspects, and he was more like the extraterrestrial aspects.
So all of this stuff coming out at the Pentagon, what are your thoughts on that?
It's about time.
Stuff that we already knew, basically.
Yeah.
It was just
We
for
have
the public, I guess.
because we have a lot of experiences, but we have a lot of friends that people kind of question the idea of it because it's not a thing that's like well known, if that makes sense, or it's like taboo to think about. So you get the question, is it a drone, are you sure it's not a star, things like that. So once the military, they release information about it being real, I was like, we can finally talk about this stuff out loud and not have to worry about the men in black knocking on the door.
For real, man.
Well, that's a little joke,
Real
but maybe.
fierce.
Yeah.
Well, dude, and they just the way that you just basically just say that anybody who talks about it is wilding out and not like have their faculties about them. I'm just like that's just not a fair assessment to make for people. And then you see some of the footage and the stuff, you're like, damn, dude, this is. I got some questions, man.
Right. Yeah.
I got some questions.
Yeah, and with it being so public now, we're learning like new information. I don't want to get too deep into it. Like, with alien abduction and things like that, I'm learning like different things about, extraterrestrials or how many are out there and things like that, which all of the stuff and so that's pretty cool to be able to gain that knowledge and to not feel like a weirdo anymore. Man. We have alien tattoos.
I saw you guys are matching alien tattoos.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll do a to be continued and get into some of that stuff. But yeah, I appreciate it. You guys are great. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. This is a vibe.
Yeah, man. I'm glad. Cool. All right. Thank you.